Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So for this week's episode, I want to talk about depression because I am in a depressive swing right now and there's no reason for it. And why I'm deciding to create a full episode on it is because someone who is near and dear to me said, "Oh, you're depressed right now, but you don't act it. I wouldn't have known because you weren't acting that way." And I'm like, well, okay, cool. Depression's not an act. It truly is something that you feel, that you work through, that you navigate, that just is. And depression is a part of my life. And I'm not acting depressed. I just am depressed. And I think that that's like a major misread when you think about depression. I mean, like some people do not leave their bed. Some people don't brush their hair. Some people find that extremely difficult just to do normal things that are part of a daily routine when they're in the throes of a depressive phase. So it's something that I've had for a very long time. I think it kind of started around puberty for me, likely. I was going through interesting things with my family, and I just remember having the sensation of not wanting to be here. And it was really just very obvious, like I would rather be not here on earth. And I always believed on the other side, like I've always had the true knowing within me that there is another side, like heaven. And that's where my preferred calling feels and felt and always feels, specifically when I'm in these depressive periods. I don't want to be here. I am here. I'm not, for the record, I am in a safe space. I have years and years of work behind getting me to a much different place. And I don't say that lightly. This has been something that has impacted not only me, myself, and I, but my family members, my friends. It's pretty much my job. It impacts everything that I'm involved in. I made this short video the other day during, it's not I wouldn't call it like manic. I'm not on a manic like swing or anything, but I do have higher highs and then lower lows. I was diagnosed with bipolar and also something called cyclothalism. This was years ago. I don't like labels though. But I was diagnosed with these two things and I was medicated for them. And the medication worked until it didn't. And then that's when I sought alternative methods for healing, which have worked for me. But I'm also in a different place too. I recognize I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 2 months ago. I'm consistently upgrading. At least I hope that I'm upgrading because that's something that I actively work on. But that doesn't mean that depression still doesn't make its way through the cracks. And navigating my depressive episodes is challenging because it's not always the same level of depression. You can't really measure how bad you're going to feel when it comes. It is kind of like this dark cloud that just kind of is behind me, and I know it's behind me, and then sometimes it creeps up and I can push it back, and then sometimes it creeps up and I'm not strong enough mentally to push it back, and so it just kind of like hangs over my head. And with that, sometimes I need to take personal days off of work. Sometimes I need to talk out loud to my partner. Sometimes I need to call my mom. It depends. It depends on where I am. But all of that to say is that it is important to put one foot in front of the other and recognize when these kind of clouds start to creep up on you. And I've also recognized with this last period is like I'm not communicating enough when I am feeling it. It's kind of like a secret sensation that just is within me. And I don't think, because we're not really like meant to speak openly, we haven't like cultivated a society that openly discusses their mental traumas and thoughts and feelings and things like that, you just kind of naturally keep it within you. So I think it's important that when you do start to feel these things creeping up, that you do tell someone, just as a precautionary way of kind of creating maybe like a mini accountability check-in. Pockets and Zoe, sorry, my dogs, they like to get into mischief every time I record. And of course, this is like a more serious topic, so no better time than now. So anyway, yeah, it's important to kind of like have someone that you can lean on, like an accountability partner, as someone that is going to check in on you, just not to tell you what to do, but just someone who's aware that you're in this negative headspace, because it's so easy when you're feeling depressed to feel alone. And you're not alone. No one in the room is alone at all whatsoever. You have me. If anything, you have me. And you can always drop a comment and I will always be there for you to help you find resources. But it's just important to have someone who is aware of the fact that you're going through something that doesn't feel good in your heart and your soul and your mind and your body. And, you know, I'm always confused as to the why behind why do I have depression. I don't know why. The best reason I can get is from my past life wasn't healed, and it's something that I need to heal in this life. Whether or not that's the only reason, I'm not sure. But it's reason enough for me to really dislike what I did my last life. And it confuses me. It makes me question my authenticity. Sometimes I feel like an imposter, because how can I say all these healing things if I'm not healed? And that bothers me about myself sometimes. But then I really do slap myself across the face, not literally, because it's not about perfection. I'm not seeking perfectionism. I'm just seeking healing. And I think that we as a society as a whole need to be more empathetic, more compassionate towards ourselves, towards our fellow man, because this is a really hard thing to navigate. Earth is very confusing, and it is sticky and dark, and there are things that don't feel good. There are things that don't feel positive, and we're exposed to things constantly on the news, in social media, everywhere you turn. Like the whole most recent thing with like the Charlie Kirk incident. I mean, like right there on television, we witnessed someone. Many of us witnessed someone being executed. That's terrifying, and some people didn't even bat an eye. And it's just, I don't know. It's a really weird place to navigate. And even the people who are saying like whether like he deserved it, blah, like it's just such a horrible thing to hear about a human to human. It's disheartening when you think about the horrible things that people can say to someone who was taken from this planet, who left behind children, whether or not they are good or bad people. I don't know anything about them. It's just like a basic compassion for a human being is just out the window sometimes, and it does break your heart. Even a smaller scale, it's like in Philly, you walk down the street and you see people who are homeless, and like this city is pretty impoverished, and it breaks your heart. Like everyone deserves clean water. Everyone deserves a safe space to lie their head at night, and not everybody has that. And you sort of start to numb out when you're around it all the time, and and then you're told like, don't give him $1 because he's just going to use it on drugs. And whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it just like it's just a hard world to navigate. And the video is not negative. It's more about calling awareness to the fact that depression exists, and like we don't make it easier on ourselves, and that we have a choice to make, and we can choose to create movement around that depression, and we can choose to put one foot in front of the other. We can choose to ask for help. You can choose to call out to someone. You could choose to research a doctor who may help you. And whether the reason for the depression doesn't really matter. It doesn't. What matters is how motivated you are to heal from that depression. And sometimes depression lasts for decades. For me in particular, it's lasted since I'm going to be 40 years old in January, and I've had this since I was maybe 12, maybe earlier. I'm not sure, because I have memories of me being a very anxious child, and I was very afraid of a lot. I was very shy and quiet and timid. I kept to myself. I had a lot of mental insecurities when I was just a little girl, which is horrible to think about, but it's true. But it's not the depression that defines me. It's how I'm trying to heal it that matters. And I'm not making this about a woe is me situation. I don't feel that way. It's rather knowing that there are things to help the situation, and that yes, you can call out of work if you need mental health days. And yes, you can take a break from society momentarily if you need that pause to realign. And that it is important to make sure that you are communicating to someone about your current mental state, specifically if you're feeling like doing something that could potentially harm yourself, because that's not the direction we want to go in. When you take on things like depression as a part of your human experience, it's important to not succumb to the depression in a place where you don't want to lose the game of life. You want to win the game of life. And what do I mean by that? You don't want you don't want depression to rule your life, because your life is yours. So you choose to give your power and all of your power to something if you want, but you can also choose to reclaim your power and stand up on your own 2 feet and say, not today, depression, not today. And it's not that simple. I know that, but I think as long as you're recognizing mentally that you do not want this hamster wheel to continue to manifest at the same level of pain that comes with the depression, sometimes I feel like my heart breaks for the world, and I don't know why. Like my heart hurts for the world. And that it sounds so bizarre, but it's the truth. But I also know that it's not my job to manage the world's pain. So what can Kate do at a smaller scale to kind of help make these micro improvements in my own world? So yeah, I think that it's hard to articulate the severity and the lows that come with depression sometimes, but as long as you are doing something good for yourself and kind of one of my depressive spouts, my best friend sent me a list, and she said, look at this list of things I want you to do, and at least try to check off as many of these boxes that you can on the list. And it was as simple as get up, get out of bed, go take a shower. And if you can take a shower, great. If not, put on different clothes than you're wearing. So change your outfit from what you were just laying in. So it's such small, achievable steps that seem ridiculous to someone who's not suffering from depression. But when you're in the throes, doing normal things feel it feels impossible. It feels like this massive task. But creating a list or having like ChatGPT create a small list for you to kind of give you a little guidance of something you can tick off. ChatGPT has actually been very helpful for me as well with my depressive spouts. It has given me certain exercises that I wouldn't have thought of outside of this. You can also talk to a therapist. You can talk to a counselor. You can talk to just a friend. You can literally just use ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is not a medical professional, but it can help you find resources and it can help you help you. So just remember that you deserve all of the love and safety in the world, and you deserve peace and you deserve happiness. But the reality of life is that there is no just happy. There is no just good. So we have to just learn how to manage these waves, the rocky waters when we are in them. And just remember that you're not alone. You have me if you ever need it. You can just send a little comment in the comment box, and I will try my best to help you the best way possible. So we've got this, guys. The sun will come out tomorrow. And just remember that, yeah, we are in this together. We got this. Until next time.